There's no better way to program your subconscious mind than listening to positive statements over and over. And there's no better way to do that than in a semi-meditative alpha brainwave state. I've created 3 prosperity meditations on hightimelinebooks.com to help you do just that. And for a limited time, you can get all 3 for the price of 2. So take your life to a higher vibe. Check them all out at hightimelinebooks.com. Welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast for Monday, November 11th, 11/11. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us. We've got quite an interesting week ahead, actually. Took a look at this with our weekly video on YouTube, and somebody caught that I said, not much happened. Well, I mean, what does happen is good. Let's just put it that way. So let's walk through the 10,000-foot perspective and get an overlay of what all is going on. A couple of sign changes at the beginning of the week. Then we have 2 formations in today's chart, tomorrow's chart. That's a yod and a mystic rectangle. Oh, we'll break that apart. And then we wrap up the week on TGI Friday with a howl at the moon. It's a full moon Friday in Taurus. And to that end, Kristin Lawhead is going to join us on Thursday to talk about the Taurus moon and the full moon, and the trine to Pluto as its last aspect before leaving Taurus. Now, that's the 10,000-foot perspective. Let's zoom in here on today and tomorrow. So the first thing today, Venus, which has been in Jupiter's lair in Sagittarius, today at 1:25 p.m. leaves Sagittarius for Capricorn. Going to be interesting to see how this affects the markets this week, which have been on a rip, as you know, since the election. Venus rules money, and Saturn can have a two-edged effect. It can present delays if you're like reading it for a company, this kind of thing, but it also can represent the foundation for a rise. If we have more room to go up, I guess we do. And also where Venus is sitting now at the end of Sagittarius and then the beginning of Capricorn is in a square to Neptune. Now, what was one of the big things that happened right after the election as part of the reaction from those who did not appreciate the outcome? The 4B movement. I don't know all the details about it, but I do know that is Venus. You want Venus and Neptune in a square? There you go. Confusion, mystique, withdrawal, Venus entering Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, that tendency to pull back, and the Pisces position of Neptune at the end of Pisces in retrograde, simply triggered by this Venus being very strong, right on the cusp, 29 degrees. And like I said, I've not been reading up on this, but that it would be something where it's almost a spiritual passion that something has to happen, something has to change, something has to be done. And with Venus sitting right there, boom. In fact, this is one of those mundane things that you look at and you think, where in the world did this reaction come from? Well, don't look at where in the world, look above the world. It's up there. And to add a little spice to all of that, the moon enters Aries tomorrow, and this will be the first lunar fire sign since the election. Now, one good thing I see here is that early tomorrow morning, the last aspect that the moon makes before going void, of course, and finally entering Aries, will be a sextile to Pluto. Now, Pluto is power, but a sextile is positive, so we'll just hang on that, especially around the themes of transformation. I just think of that caterpillar who is compelled to build a little home around himself and not know what's getting ready to happen, and then emerges as a butterfly, looks back at the caterpillar days and thinks, wow, would I go through that 100 more times to have this? Now, we do have a couple of other things coming up, and let's talk about those tomorrow. Let's roll those into tomorrow. We have a yod in the sky with the sun at the top of it, and that's today and tomorrow. And also, Mercury and Saturn are in a square aspect, and there's a mystic rectangle in the chart. So let's come back. That gives us a great platform to start tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I love you. Happy Monday, 11/11. Celebrate. We'll see you back tomorrow. Thanks for listening.